Meredith with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we are checking out the full LED projector headlights with the sequential turn signals and a black housing as well as a clear lens, fitting all 2019 and newer Ram 1500s with the factory halogen headlights. Now, if your factory halogens are underperforming, especially if you're in a more remote area and simply driving at night is a challenge from the dull beam and the more yellow-toned light, these are going to be a huge improvement for your truck. The full LED design that these bring to the table will brighten up the road ahead of you much better for nighttime visibility and will also improve the appearance of the front end with a more modern and stylish look if you're also in need of an upgrade in that department. This set will bring a lot to the table, but the biggest improvement here will definitely be the bright LED driving beams in combination with the projector lenses. Now, those two will drastically brighten up the beam, have a whiter and brighter appearance to them, and the beam will remain full from side to side with a sharp cutoff line for consistent lighting. The upper and lower accent bar will also be very functional, not only offering a DRL for style and for other drivers to notice you better when the driving lights aren't on, but it's also going to function as a switchback amber turn signal. These will have a standard but durable build with an ABS black plastic housing molded to the factory specs for a bolt-in install, and the inner portion behind the lens will offer a darkened appearance, making the lights pop and offering more of a blacked out look without having a smoked lens. Now, speaking of the lens, it's going to be a crystal clear polycarbonate offering full transparency with the addition of impact resistance, so no lighter hits from junk or anything on the road being flung up on or off-road will phase the lens. Now, the LEDs will also be maintenance-free compared to what you're probably used to with halogens burning out over time. The LED lights will have long-lasting performance thanks to the low energy draw, so you can keep some peace of mind that these are going to last. These are also going to be completely plug and play, making install a breeze, and this will even include the filler bracket for the bottom, so install is going to be very simple, and we'll show you how to do that in just a minute. These are going to sit at roughly $775, and that is a fairly average price point for this type of upgrade. However, compared to other full LED setups, it will be on the lower side of the spectrum, so if you're looking to save some cash in the LED department, these are going to help a little bit. Now, regardless, at this price point for a full LED headlight that's going to be plug and play with additional features like the switchback and sequential functions is, in my opinion, a great investment if you want a feature-packed set for your Ram. Install will be a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and take you about 2 or so hours to get the job done. Like I mentioned, it is going to be fairly easy. However, at this point, we can head over to our shop and check out a detailed breakdown on how to get these onto your Ram at home. That is going to wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
For this install, you need a 3/8 ratchet, a 10 and an 8mm socket, 1/4 inch ratchet, and a 10mm socket, diagonal cutters, clip removal tool, and Phillips head screwdriver. All right, today we're going to be installing some headlights on our Ram. First, we're going to watch a quick video how to uninstall the stock ones, and then we're going to come back here to install the new ones.
So for this install, you're going to need to pop your hood, remove your upper rad cover, the grille, and some of the surrounding trim. It's a pretty simple process. I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. So let's get started. So we're going to start by removing our upper rad cover. There's a bunch of plastic clips that need to be removed, so I'm going to use my plastic clip removal tool and pop the heads of them open. And then once I get those all removed, I can pull the panel off. And we're going to pull this panel right off. The next piece we need to remove is the headlight trim and grille trim here on the top of the vehicle. It's a combination of a pop clip and 10mm screws. So I'm going to use my clip tool once again and a 10mm socket to pull all of these out, and then I can just remove this piece from the vehicle. Next, I'm going to use my 8mm socket to remove some of the screws here on the inner wheel well and pull the liner back to expose a little bit more hardware that's hiding behind the liner so I can get this panel off that surrounds the headlight. So now that I have the liner pulled back, I've exposed this 10mm bolt here inside the wheel well liner, and I'm going to use my 10mm on a ratchet and just pull that out. Now I'll just repeat this process on the other side. Next, I'm going to need to remove my grill. There are 3 10mm bolts at the bottom of either side of the grill, and there are 4 across the top. I'll just use my 10mm socket on my small impact gun, remove all of those screws, and pull the grill off. So now that I have my grill removed, I can go ahead and start unbolting and unhooking my headlights. I have a clip here at the top as well as a 10mm bolt, and then I have a 10mm bolt here on the side from the fender, and I'll just use my 10mm socket and my clip tool and pull those out, and then I can unhook my headlights. It's a little hard to see, but I'm just going to unplug my headlight connectors from the back. Just push down on the tabs to release them, and then you can pull the headlight out.
All right, now before we install our new headlights, we just have a small amount of wiring to do. We have our wire, which we're going to tap into our fuse box. That's going to plug into our other wire, which will run to each of our headlights. All right, so we're just going to come over to our fuse box, remove our lid, push on these 2 tabs, lift up. Now the fuse we're going to be taking out is our F59 spot. That is this 25 amp fuse. So we're going to get our fuse puller out. Pull that one out. Take our fuse tap, plug that in place. You can run that out the front here so it doesn't pinch the wire, and then reinstall your fuse puller, and then reinstall your lid. All right, now we're trying to connect our other harness to the harness that we plugged into our fuse box. So you're gonna find, not the red one, the gray wire, plug our harness in. This one will go to our driver's side headlight, so just tuck it down there. And then we're gonna take the other half of the harness, run it along our front, and then secure it on the other side on our passenger side. All right, so we're gonna run our wire across. We're just gonna secure it, make sure it doesn't touch anything hot. So we have our horn brackets back here, which we can zip tie to. Just make sure you're not pulling it away from the other headlight connection. Tuck it down behind the rad support. behind the intake and bring it out through the passenger side headlight access. All right, before we mount our new headlight, we just have to do a small amount of assembly so our bottom trim piece does not come attached. So first off, on our bottom hole right here, you'll see a little slot. You're gonna put your one mounting point over, just click into place. Then you're gonna put your trim piece over your headlight. You'll see it lock into place. It'll line up these 3 screws down here. And there's one here, and then one on the top here. So we're gonna start with our bottom 3 screws. It's gonna be our smallest screws in our pack. All right, so we're just gonna grab our Phillips head screwdriver and tighten them down. All right, we have our one mounting screw here. Once again, Phillips head screwdriver, tighten that down. And then our last mounting point right here. All right, now on the back side, you will see this module zip tied to here, so you just grab a pair of diagonal cutters, cut that zip tie off, so you're able to use that mounting point. You can also use these to cut the excess off the zip ties that you use for the wiring harness. All right, now you can repeat those same steps for the other headlight. All right, now we're going to mount our headlight. First thing we're going to talk about is our module here. So we do have double-sided tape. What you're going to make sure you do is peel that off and secure that to the body wherever you want. Make sure it's out of the way. For demonstration purposes, we're just going to tuck it behind, but you do want to make sure this is secured and not bouncing around. All right, we do have our 3 connections. We have our wire we ran and our 2 factory harnesses. All right, we're going to start with our wire that we ran. And then we have our main factory harness. So plug into the big one here. Secure that on. Now this does look like it secures into something, but it does not. It's just going to sit in here. All right, now we have our 3rd harness. There's not a lot of reach on it, so it might be hard to see, but it will plug into right here. And then we can put our headlight into place, making sure that that pin goes behind. And we can start our side bolt. All right, we're going to come to our top of our headlight. We're going to reinstall our push clip. And then we're just going to start our bolt up here. And we're not going to tighten anything down yet because we have this bolt here which goes through the grill. So we're going to put our grill on next. But right now you can go ahead and repeat the same thing for the other headlight. All right, now before we put our grill in, you can go ahead and repeat those same steps for the other headlight. All right, now we can go ahead and reinstall our grill. Just make sure our tabs are at either end on the top to go over our headlights. All right, now we can reinstall all our full bolts going across the grill. Our longer ones will go through our headlight mounts. Shorter ones will go in the middle. All right, we're just gonna grab our ratchet 10mm socket and tighten them down. All right, now we're gonna come down to the lower side of the grill. We have our 3 bolts we're gonna reinstall. Our shorter one will go on the outside, 2 longer ones on the inside. Once again, grab a ratchet and 10mm socket. All right, you can go ahead and repeat the same thing for the other 3 bolts on the other side. All right, now we're gonna come back to the top of our headlight and tighten down the one that we left loose. All right, now we're gonna come down to the side of the headlight and tighten down our bolt that we left loose. Once again, ratchet and 10mm socket. All right, and while we're here, we can also put our trim piece back into place. All All right, now we're gonna come to the inside of the wheel liner and we're gonna re-secure our 10mm bolt that we took out of our trim piece right about here. Now it's gonna be pretty hard to see, but we're gonna grab our 1/4" ratchet, the 10mm socket, and tighten that down. All right, now we can put our wheel liner back in place. And we can grab our ratchet with our 8mm socket and reinstall our 8mm screws. All right, now you can go ahead and repeat those same steps for the other side. All right, now we're gonna reinstall our top trim piece. And then we're gonna reinstall our 10mm bolts that go all the way across. All right, so we'll grab our ratchet and 10mm socket and tighten them all down. All right, once you have that done, we can put our top cover into place. And then reinstall all of our push clips. All right, we're just missing a couple push clips, so you should make sure you reinstall the rest of yours. All right, and that wraps up our install of our full LED projector headlights with sequential turn signals with a black housing and clear lens for our 2019 and newer Ram 1500 with factory halogen headlights. And remember, for everything Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.